Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick-and-mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I'm passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love, because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you are meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Inspire and Move podcast. And today you're in for a little treat. Today's episode is actually something different, something that we've never done here on the show, but I've actually seen a few of my favorite podcast hosts do episodes like this. And it's a really wonderful opportunity for you, the listeners and the viewers, to get to know us a little bit better, a little differently. They are short clips from a recent content shoot that we did with our videographer based off of Q&A opportunities that we had with Instagram. So these Q&A segments are all put together, packaged in a nice little box with a pretty little bow for you guys to listen to here today, all about how Matt and I navigate working together as husband and wife, our work-life balance, work-life harmony, how we met and what we were doing before we got into the world of entrepreneurship and starting Benchmark Fitness. So I'm excited for you to dive into today's episode, hear something a little bit different from us, and again, a really different format. So my inbox is always open. Shoot me a DM if you loved this episode and this format, and we can do more of this. Until then, enjoy, and we'll see you again soon. Okay, so we have this question from Instagram. Did you ever spend time on separate entrepreneurial journeys? And if yes, what was the key to success until you came together in the same area?
Interesting. So the answer to that is yes. We did spend time in our own entrepreneurial journeys. I was in sales for a large corporation, but in that role, you ate what you killed. So I spent 15 years in really playing the long game, a lot of relationship building, a lot of pouring in more value than what the perceived purchase price is of what I sold. And I think that absolutely has parlayed itself into what we do now together.
Same. I was in corporate marketing and events, and I grew. I started off as a coordinator and then finished off my time at this corporate position I was there for 6.5 years as the manager of events and sponsorships. And I loved my job, and I speak about it with so much love. And it gave me so much amazing experience, not only in the job locally, but I got to travel and experience different cities and countries. I got to be around a lot of wealth, which was really inspiring. And I think that was the first phase of inspiration for growth and creating a beautiful, abundant life because of what I saw from the clients that I was around. But I want to be in the driver's seat myself for us to be able to create that and take everything that I learned there, everything that I was able to create, and 10x it to now be for ourselves.
Not only that, but you also then had a tangent of a micro career of sorts where for a period of time you were in network sales.
Yes, network marketing.
Thank you. And that has to have made a difference, obviously, not just in obviously attracting the ideal client, but also speaking to them about something that, might not be the sexiest topic, but important for them nonetheless, because you were so passionate about it.
Oh my gosh, I am so passionate about network marketing. I am not actively in that business anymore, but I will give it a gold seal of approval that if you are someone that wants to get into entrepreneurship, network marketing is entrepreneurship with training wheels. You learn to build your resiliency muscle because people will say no to you, but you also really lean on personal development, and personal development is the cheat code for successful entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and I think the one through line with all of this is the idea that sales isn't supposed to be a dirty word. It's your passion behind something that then allows you to shine a light on that and use that product, that service, that skill set, whatever it is that you are selling per se, to enrich the life of somebody else who wouldn't have had the opportunity to know it as well as they do because of you accordingly.
Okay, We have another question: how we manage pitching ideas to each other, or when we disagree, and what the next step is.
This is a fun one. Well, here's the reality. We're both pretty agreeable people. And so in that breath, I think if either one of us come to each other with an idea that we haven't tried yet, we haven't sussed out, that we don't have any reason for wanting to implement immediately, I don't think I really ever remember a time where you or I ever heard each other and then said, hell no, absolutely not, I'm putting my foot down. Like, I think we will try it and we'll be excited about what the potential of it is. And I think one of our best attributes is we don't stick with anything that isn't working for all that long. And I think if we know that we need to cut ties with it in order to go and do something else, we can be proud that we tried it. We can say that we did it. And maybe we come back to it in some capacity again down the road, but we don't let it take up too much bandwidth, I don't think, in our current setup, so as to not take away from other things that we want to continuously grow and introduce and all the rest too.
I think we've become really great and are still in an evolution of moving quickly, and we are becoming better at making decisions quicker, faster, and taking action. And that is something I really believe that since 2023, when we started really leaning into getting in the room and investing in the room, we had the byproduct of that being the fact that we were great action takers. And to your point, that we are so down to always try something, to say, okay, yeah, like, what's the worst that can happen? I think
no, in saying that, this has to make sense. Yeah. This isn't, Ali coming to Matt and saying, you know what, Sundays are kind of a quieter day at the gym. I'm going to sell high heel shoes out of the studio space. Like, that doesn't make any bloody sense. So, those kinds of things, obviously, I think we're all realizing that the things that we are thinking about offering or trying that the other side of our partnership hasn't thought of before. I think there's still a mutual respect of understanding that there has to be a through line of some sort for it to make sense. But as long as there is a reason as to the why behind the evolution of that idea, the genesis of that idea, I think it goes a long way to throw your support behind your partner, especially when you are married to them, and seeing it through, even if it means that it's just a shorter run as opposed to a longer run, knowing that you tried it, hey, it didn't work, or maybe maybe we need to strip this back 60-70% of what we did so that we can rebuild and then move forward with it again on the scale and in the way that it was maybe meant to be from the first place.
Next question from Instagram: how you separate business versus personal conversations in marriage?
This one's tough. Kind of going through what these questions were prior to us sitting down here. This one I think was the most difficult because, a couple of reasons. We both do the same thing. We both know the same people. It's not like, I go to work 9 to 5 in a different city. I come home and I talk about, Jimmy from finance, and you don't know who the hell Jimmy is. If I'm talking from somebody on our team, if I'm talking from a member, a client, an email, you know exactly what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to turn that part off. So as much as, we obviously love what we do and love what we create and look forward to creating more of it, I think what we have begun to do that we could probably still do better at, if I'm being honest, is we do have non-negotiable times throughout the course of the week. And they're not massive times, but Friday night. Friday night is always easy night at home, drink before dinner itself, catch up on what the wins of the week are. And sometimes that's professional, sometimes it's personal. But I would say that part goes a long way because, look, the reality is two partners who are both entrepreneurs in the same business, pushing in the same direction. The reality of it is that we are always thinking about how to better our business and create more impact and all of those things. That's just how it goes. And I think it's ignorant to think that we won't be able to think of that or speak to that for the 80 or 90% of the time that we're in our waking hours. But if we can do a good job at setting aside a specific evening or a particular date night, whatever that looks like, and just putting phones to the side, literally not even in viewpoint, not even on the table, I think that goes a long way.
And make no mistake that we actually get a lot of joy about talking about our business. So I don't want this, advice or insights to come across as having this boundary of when to talk about personal and when to talk about business, because if it brings you joy, talk about it. And if dreaming big brings you joy, talk about it. We are big advocates for that. We have started making a really conscious effort of socializing that way and having those big dream conversations. But at the same time, it is important to rest. And that might honestly just be like resting the conversation about business and those big goals and spending quality time together. But I think you can do that in a really beautiful conversation by talking about wins of the week or something you're really proud of, or what was something that was really challenging, but what were you able to extract from it as a learning lesson?
And I also think that one of our key advantages, because we are a couple in the same business, is that neither one of us are going through the same hardship by ourselves. That whatever the difficulty is, whatever the challenge is, as difficult as that is, you have a partner who's helping you push through it, who helps you maybe change your mindset, see it in a different framework. And that goes the same with any win. It's great for you to have a win individually. It is exponentially more when your partner knows exactly what it took to get to that win and you celebrate it together.
Next Instagram question: pros and cons of working with your spouse.
This one feels like a trap to me.
Yep, it's a trick. Insert golden retriever.
Yeah, and Australian Shepherd. I would say, look, the pros are, I know we've mentioned them in pasts before, but you're never really going through anything on your own, right? Whether it's a win or a loss, it's either the wins are magnified to be that much sweeter, the losses are cushioned that much more so because you've got a partner who's helping you walk through it. So, those are the pros, obviously. The cons can almost be the exact opposite side of that, where there isn't both of you coming to the table with individual wins per se, if it's for the same business. And at the same time, if you have a problem individually, it means both of you have a problem, as opposed to only one person coming to the table with a solitary issue. So I would say those things are the most difficult. I mean, we are very lucky that we just like hanging out with each other a lot, a lot. And that's not normal.
It's increasing for we're coming up to 8 years married, 12 years together, and
6 years in business.
6 years in business. But really only a year and a half in business fully together, because we had shared that, we both previously came from different jobs and industries, that you have had 2 jobs in the time that we have owned Benchmark Fitness.
Like 2 corporate jobs.
2 corporate jobs, 2 very different, complementary to one another. And you're excellent at both of them, and you probably extracted learnings from each of them to bring into Benchmark. But we have only been in business for a year and a half of us working together hand in hand. But yes, I feel like as we have been in business together, we are, growing in our years of marriage, that we really like to spend time with each other. And I think that probably has a lot of additional factors, which is maybe a different question, different topic of conversation, but that we really enjoy spending time together, and we really like being actively trying to be the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. And also, I was going to say, when it comes to pros and cons of working with each other, because what we do is something that we choose to do and that we genuinely really love, and we see the impact that it creates every day, it can't help but keep us motivated. Even, on the days where one of us don't necessarily feel like doing the thing, that doesn't mean that we're both in that boat. So it's nice to know that you can almost like hand off a baton here or there. And sometimes, I do the shitty stuff, sometimes you do the shitty stuff. We're not above any of it to make the engine or keep the engine going, obviously. But I think when push comes to shove, because we are so genuinely in love with what it is that we are creating, that there's something really unique about being able to do it together and not have to explain it to one another.
And I think being able to balance each other out, where, someone could be doing the hard thing, and being able to ask the other person, how can I support you? What do you need help with? And maybe sometimes you'll be like, honestly, I nothing. I need you to take the dogs for a walk, and I just need to be quiet. But I think just the simple act of asking shows love and support. And I think that is easy for anyone to extract from this, and just showing that you care. Okay, so our final question from Instagram was kind of more along the lines of a day in the life of a husband and wife in business together, which we know, changes every day, and our week actually does look a little bit different. I am currently still training clients one-on-one at Benchmark. So I have 3 days that I see clients. So those 3 days, those 3 mornings look a little bit different than Monday and Friday are my non-training days. So how we start the day, our workout schedule is different. But I love those days because we are starting to fill those with more admin and content creation, event prep, my one-on-one coaching clients. I really like saving that energy to be a different energy and want to be of service in a different way to those clients versus one-on-one personal training client energy. So our Mondays and Fridays, we pretty much get up at the same time. We like to get up at 6.
6 o'clock, always the same start, and we make sure dogs are looked after first. Nothing happens for us personally until our 3 dogs are looked after. So that is bathroom breaks, feeding, maybe another bathroom break. And then while that's happening, we are brewing coffee, we are making breakfast shakes, we're getting our lemon water ready. All of this happens in the first 30 minutes of us being awake, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we're awake after the dogs are all taken care of. We do room temperature lemon water with Himalayan salt. I'm currently on a turmeric and ginger shot train, so I actually do the shot first, then the lemon water, then a cup of water. I'm trying to start having something to eat to coat my stomach before coffee. And we love those mornings where we have brewed coffee. Like, it's very nostalgic coffee in a mug. I talk about that often, of how that's just like a joy moment, especially right now, being able to enjoy it outside in our cabana with the birds chirping. And then on those days, we train at 9 a.m. with our trainer, Jess, at Benchmark. And then we leave. We typically leave just after 10. We get another coffee for our walk home together from our favorite coffee shop. We like to listen to podcasts together, and we are those couples that we each have one AirPod. We share them. Sometimes we also do that on the treadmill.
I bet you people walk by us and they're like,
Nerds.
Those guys they never talk to each other. And it's because like they probably see the side of our head that doesn't have an AirPod in it. And yet like our head is down and we are like making sure the dogs aren't running all over the place chasing squirrels. We're not talking to each other because we have a Hermosi or a Harder or a Milet or sometimes
Martell.
all the above in our ear for a 20-minute walk to get to the gym and back home again. It crosses my mind sometimes we might look like the most introverted, like jackass couple, but it's not. We're
learning.
We're just expanding. That's all.
Yeah. And then in the gym, I'm spending those 3 days, those 3 mornings training clients, but Matt is very much operations.
Yeah. So my days typically involve the everyday operation of the gym space itself. So that comes down to not just the physical maintenance of the space, but even just in ensuring that things are always stocked and that the client experience is never dipped, that what they got yesterday is what they can expect to get today. And that's, I think, one of our greatest keys to success is that the consistency of what the clients can expect day to day never changes. So if you have set the bar at 10 out of 10 on a Monday, they expect that same thing now from you for the rest of the week. So we have a great team that understands what this bar is as well. And I think as a whole, we do a really great job at making sure that the place runs perfectly oiled, whether it's a Monday morning or a Sunday afternoon.
And we started outsourcing in terms of, from a content standpoint with our creative team. We are exploring support with a virtual assistant or actually maybe an in-person assistant. I feel like I would work better with that because I am such an in-person energy kind of human. But being able to recognize what your strengths are and where you can start systemizing and automating and outsourcing. But that does, of course, comes with a financial investment. And also the releasing of the reins to have someone else help you.
To trust somebody else can do it as well as you can do it yourself.
And then when we were home, Matt is the talent in the kitchen. Matt creates everything that we eat every single night, every single day.
And I take that very seriously. And that might sound like it's something that's, just well, of course, everyone has to eat something every night. And that's true. But I think, what we choose to eat, as much as it's somewhat of a routine of sorts, as far as the kind of protein and whatever the side is, I think we're very specific with when and what it is, because I'm not willing to compromise on A, really good tasting food, or B, quality food. So it can't be frozen out of a box. Nothing wrong with anybody who wants to have frozen out of a box. It's just not for me. That's all.
It's fuel, and we lead a really busy life, and I don't like to use the word busy often, but we lead a very full life and full days, and we are passionate about being high performers, not only in life, in business, in our workouts. So you need fuel to do that. Your body can't run on nothing. So that's important, and you do a great job of ensuring that we are fueled in a plentiful way.
Yeah, it makes all of us show up better the next day so that we can do exactly what we did the day before and as well as possible.
And I often get a surge of creativity and almost like a power hour when you are working on dinner prep, that I actually like to make a mocktail or sparkling water, sometimes a glass of wine in my office, get a candle going, a lo-fi chill playlist. And I really enjoy that time. Let's call it, 6 to 7 p.m. of getting some work done by myself in the office. I'll even shut my door. My office is on the main level, and enjoy that 1 hour of work time. Because sometimes I find in the middle of the day, in the afternoon, we get distracted with the responsibilities of 3 dogs and our home, and ensuring that the dogs have 1-2 walks a day, especially our Aussie, who's high energy and needs the stimulation. And our first choice is always to walk them together, but sometimes it just comes down to tactical scheduling of the day.
That's it. Just divide and conquer.
And then always ensuring that we spend time together in the later half of the evening.
That's a non-negotiable every night.
Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a few seconds and shared this on social media, sent it to a friend, or left a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I'm so grateful to have you part of mine.